In the age of AI, what are the skills beginner designers should learn now to be in demand in the future?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. A lot of people have fear, like, I'm not going to be needed. If you just take a step back and think about AI, the AI recorded everything known to mankind at a single point in time, which means as we still grow our craft and we progress, there's a body of existing knowledge which you can start from, which means you have basically a leg up from where you start from. And I think it's quite positive. With technology means I don't have to memorize all my friends' phone numbers. That's not something I need to keep on my hard drive. I can do other things. So I also think for junior designers, being able to, your starting point is much, much further. But the core of what is going to be evergreen is, dealing with humans, deciding what to do, of course, learning these new tools. So there's still that whole element of understanding a problem, deciding what to do, knowing what good looks like, that still has to get done. It just means that the floor has risen a lot more, which hopefully accelerates where they are. A lot of people say you don't need to learn the theory anymore. I don't think that's true. You need to understand how something works in order to have an opinion on it. So don't cheat yourself and skip all the steps.
That's very good. We had Simon Lee on from Enigma, I remember last year, and he said, like, but to your point then around, like, you still have to know the basics. You have to know the rules and the principles. It's one of those things, isn't it? Like, you have to know the rules in order to be able to break them. And so I remember him talking about how, like, if you want to create something that looks as if it was shot on film, you know how you have to shoot something on film. Yeah. So being able to understand the dynamics around that and the different filters and the shots and the perspectives that you're looking for, all are going to help you if you create something using AI. But you can't just have a crack at it straight away. So it's good to know those basics.
Totally.
Ash, do you, obviously, like, the threat of AI is how a lot of people view AI. Do you hear from people that they're worried about the future, or that they're having to think about changing skill sets or what they're going to need to succeed in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's a real fear for a lot of creative industry workers, especially when people are witnessing now what AI seems to be capable of doing, and then sort of not knowing how far it's going to be going into the future as well. I think, from a sort of psychological and philosophical viewpoint, think that we need to remain connected to our creative souls for something beyond just sort of work life. But I do understand and absolutely empathize with the fear, and the very real fear that maybe my job won't exist. So again, like, as something that I remind a lot of people, because creative people tend to like to bunker down in a particular identity mindset. This, I am a designer, I am an author, I am a visual artist, and recognizing that we can sort of expand our identities beyond just one label. And whilst right now it might just be an interest, a hobby, a curiosity, allow yourself to sort of follow some of those threads, expand yourself out, and you never know what might be possible. I definitely never thought that I would be a psychologist 15 years ago when I was up at, on pub stages singing Cold Chisel covers. And yet, we sometimes just got to follow the threads where they lead us.
Yeah, great. I think, so we've just finished some research into AI, and we've started releasing the findings. So I'm just going to pop there's 2 links there in the chat if anyone wants to go and check them out. And I think one of the biggest things that we found is that for those people that have actually gone and started to do things in AI, there's a little bit more confidence, and there's a little bit more and that comes from understanding. Whereas on the other side, there's lots of fear mongering and lots of like, oh, keep it away from me. This is taking my job. I have to fight against it. And that actually causes more anxiety. We saw more correlations with things like burnout for people that weren't sort of leaning in, trying to find out about it. So definitely see what you can get from it. And even sometimes the best way to learn is just to do it on personal stuff. I can tell you for the last 2 weeks. It's written the instructions to my football team on how we on each of their roles on how we should be approaching the game at the weekend. Much better than I could have done it. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. I've been using it at the moment to give me a 1-day poetry challenge. So it gives me a new prompt every day, and I've got to write a poem every morning. So, like it can help inspire you to be a bit more creative as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say I mirror that what you just mentioned, Andy, about, those fear factors, because I work across a variety of clients, and I would 100% say that there's people even in our team, or I see in client teams, by the way, that's a very big cup.
I actually got 2 of my biggest cups ready for today.
You're like drinking a gallon of water. That's so funny. But yeah, like I was, even as a leader, I'm like, I'm not on the tools. Do I know enough? And then I thought, okay, I'm going to meet this person. I'm just going to open Replit and I'm going to redesign their app as a provocation, as a starting point. And it actually made me feel a lot more confident. I'm like, oh, this is actually quite okay. And the results are, this is the worst it's ever going to be. Yeah. So keep going back at it. And I also see team members that are scared, and I actually plan in time for us to tinker and play with it so they don't feel the pressure and they slowly get into it going, this can really help you. It's not something you should be fearful of.
Yeah.